Here are the top stories that made headlines this week from the United States.
We also meet at a time when India is confronting the challenge of terrorism, one that is a shared threat to the international community.
The largest escalation in decades between India and Pakistan, both nuclear-armed nations. India began military strikes this week on targets in Pakistan and Pakistan-administered Kashmir, believed to be terror infrastructure. In return, Pakistan responded with strikes on India. India's military action comes in reaction to a deadly terror attack on tourists in Pahalgam last month. The US has called for immediate de-escalation.
Today's agreement with the UK is the first in a series of agreements on trade that my administration has been negotiating over the past 4 weeks.
The US and the UK have agreed to the framework of a trade deal, with many of the details still left to be ironed out. However, it's the first to come in a series of agreements the White House hopes to nail since imposing tariffs on various countries. The US agreed to roll back duties imposed on British steel and cars in exchange for purchasing Boeing planes and getting American farmers greater access to UK markets. Despite the agreement, most UK goods will still be subject to 10% duties.
Having met with the owners of Canada over the course of the campaign last several months, it's not for sale, won't be for sale.
Canada's newly elected Prime Minister Mark Carney firmly saying Canada is not for sale. Trump's reply, never say never. On the whole, though, Carney's visit to the White House was mostly amicable. Trump praised Carney, calling him a terrific guy. Carney also turned to flattery at times. Chinese President Xi Jinping is in Russia. He, along with 20 other international leaders, were hosted by Russian President Putin. They attended a massive parade in Moscow that marked the Soviet Union's World War II victory over Nazi Germany. China and Russia have vowed to strengthen ties to counter US influence. The first American pope is elected to lead the Catholic Church. Robert Prevost, who was born in Chicago, lived and worked in Peru as a missionary for several years. He eventually obtained dual citizenship. Prevost, who will now go on to be known by the name of Pope Leo XIV, has occasionally posted some messages on social media that appear to be critical of President Donald Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance.